So stuffed bread, this is more of a method than a recipe. I'm going to give you a standard recipe and then you can stuff the bread with whatever you like. This happens to be one of my favorite stuffed bread recipes. It's really buttery and delicious. So the first thing you want to do is pick yourself up a nice round or oval loaf of crusty bread. You can do sourdough, you can do rye, you can do pumpernickel. Think about what you're stuffing in the bread as to what type of bread you're going to get. So in this recipe, we're going to stuffing it with a wonderful butter mixture and Swiss cheese, and we're going to sprinkle it with chives when it comes out of the oven. So a nice big round or oval loaf of bread. Sometimes it's a good idea to call ahead to the bakery to make sure they have it, because usually they slice that bread and you don't want it sliced. You're going to slice it yourself. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to come in and kind of slice it on an angle, but you don't want to slice it all the way through. So we're going to come in, put some vertical slices in here, pretty deep, but not, again, not all the way through. And then we're going to come in and do some slices the other way. So you end up with these sections of the bread that you can kind of get in there and stuff with all sorts of great ingredients. So you see you've got these holes to work with. And if you get an oval loaf, it actually kind of looks like a football. And when you bake it, it spreads apart a little bit too. So these are really fun, even if you're not doing it for the big game, to do if you're just serving soup, because bread and soup go so well together. So now you've got room to, in between the crevices here, to stuff away. We'll do one more little. Okay, so we've got some butter. Half of a cup of butter that I'm going to melt here. I want to just check on the bread that we've got in the oven. Ooh, don't want to give it away. I'll show it to you at the big finale coming up in just a minute. But you can, like I said, have this stuffed in your refrigerator. You know, maybe make it Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, and then just have it done in your refrigerator. And then you want to bake this. You want to serve this warm. That's key. You know, like some of those warm out of the oven dips, they're just not so great if they've sat for a little bit. You got to have it warm out of the oven, piping hot. Same goes for this bread. Okay. I'm going to melt that just a few minutes longer. So who are we rooting for? What team? You know, I actually haven't decided yet. But I know this, I'm rooting for a really good game and some really fun commercials and a nice relaxing night on the couch. I love, you know, this big game because it's a great opportunity for the family to kind of hang out and just chill out together and make some memories at home. You know, usually there's nothing happening on that night because everybody's watching the game. So, you know, sometimes it's fun to have some friends over too. But as I said, don't want to be stuck in the kitchen the whole time. Okay, so our butter is nice and melted. Now to our butter, we're really going to season this up and flavor it up well. I'm going to add some Dijon mustard. You don't want to use a yellow mustard, like the hot dog mustard, a little bit too strong. This is going to be some really nice flavor. So some Dijon mustard. Then we've got some onion powder, a couple teaspoons of that, garlic powder, and lemon juice. It's just going to give it some great flavor. It's not going to taste real lemony. We've just got a lot of butter in there, so that's going to just cut that a little bit. I'm going to whisk that together. And this is really going to work well with the Swiss cheese that we're going to stuff this with. This smells divine. Butter and a little bit of mustard and garlic powder and onion powder and yummy. Okay, so there's a couple things that you can do. You can either wrap a little bit of foil around the bottom of the bread or just line your baking sheet with bread. I don't want the bottom of the bread to get too toasted. Also, I don't want it to, you know, to get messy all over my pan. So I choose to line the pan with foil. And at this point, we're going to either take with a spoon, or I think kind of the way to do it is with a brush and get in there. You can even just pour a little bit of it into the crevices, which this is a little bit putsy, but it'll all be worth it. and just kind of get some of this yummy butter mixture in between all those cracks and crevices. You want this all around. Oh, and it smells so good. A spoon would work too, just to get it in there. Once you start making these, you're going to start making them more and more. Okay, and now we're going to come in with some cheese. I'm using Swiss cheese because I thought it really worked well with the pumpernickel, and I happen to love Swiss cheese. You could certainly use other cheeses. You really just kind of want to stuff that cheese in there. Stuff it in there good. Now I'm going to show you another type of bread that my kiddos I thought would really like, a stuffed bread. Same method, we're going to do a pizza bread. You could do the same method and do bacon and cheddar, which would be a really good one with like a white sourdough bread. You could do like a Reuben stuffed bread with Thousand Island dressing, maybe a little of that butter mixture, Thousand Island, some chopped up corned beef that you got from the deli. You could stuff mushrooms in along with this Swiss. You could do a ham and Swiss stuffed bread. So, you know, sky's the limit on your different ideas to stuff your bread with. So we're going to do one more, do this one a little bit more quickly, and we'll do a pizza bread. What kid doesn't like pizza? So you make the crisscrosses. A crusty bread is key. And you're going to come in here. Thank you, Anna. Got crumbs from our bread all over the place. With some pizza sauce. Just canned or store-bought pizza sauce. Get it all over, and then maybe you can serve some extra pizza sauce for dipping and dunking when this comes warm out of the oven. I've seen these like with a spinach artichoke spread tucked in between too. That would be really good. But I'll show you when they come out of the oven. That's the fun part, is you just really kind of, it's finger food. It's pull apart food. Think chicken wings and chicken fingers and, you know, for Super Bowl food, messy is just fun. Nachos. Okay, this was shredded mozzarella. You could do some thin slices of pepperoni or little pieces of pepperoni. I love mushrooms on my pizza, so tuck some mushrooms in here. Maybe a little bit of green pepper would be great. Black olives. You get the idea. Sprinkle a little oregano over the top. Okay, let me get the one that we made. It's been baking in the oven. And it takes about, you want the cheese to be melty, and the main thing is you want that whole loaf of bread really crusty and toasted up. That's what you're looking for. So come back with me. Oh yeah. Smells so good, and you can see in between the slices that cheese is all melty. The top of the bread is nice and crusty, and we're going to finish it off. So there's lots of surprises tucked inside with some chopped scallions, or you could do chopped parsley or chives. So I've just got some scallions here. I'm going to give those a rough chop. And tuck those in between the slices of bread. It's going to make it look really pretty. Both the white and the green are perfectly fine to use. All right, stuffed bread. Perfect for your game day party.